Welcome to another week of the Pioneer Sideline. We have a great show ahead of us. We will start our coverage on the field talking about the baseball and softball teams. Then we will head to the links to talk some golf. From there we will go to the hot topics and national news. We will also talk about the NHL playoffs as the puck gets ready to drop. As always, we will finish up with a round of the Pioneer reporters. So are you ready to head on down to the Pioneer Sideline? Welcome to the Pioneer Sideline. I'm your host, Kyle Anthony. We'll start our coverage tonight by talking about the Point Park baseball team. So we'll bring Robert Gomez in from the bullpen to talk about how the team did this past week.
After a couple exciting wins against rival WVU Tech, the Point Park baseball team lost their last 3 out of 4 non-conference games. After leading 6 innings against Shawnee State University, senior Jared Brown came in the 7th inning to close the game with a 3-2 lead. After a quick 2 outs, Brown gave up a single up the middle to freshman Connor Kindred. Shawnee State University brought in pitch hitter J.T. Boggs, who ended up hitting a 2-run home run to win the game in walk-off fashion. In Game 2 of the doubleheader, Point Park and Shawnee State both scored 1 run early in the innings of the game. After being tied through 5, the Shawnee State Bears were able to manufacture 2 runs off of Jared Brown in the bottom of the 6th inning to edge out a 3-2 victory. The team had a last-minute matchup against Washington and Jefferson on Sunday. Game 1 of the doubleheader turned into be a good old slugfest. After being down 6-1 in the top of the 5th, the Bisons rallied to score 8 runs in the last 3 innings to go ahead of the Presidents 9-6. In the bottom of the 7th, junior Jay Carew transitioned from shortstop to closer to close out the games for the Bisons. However, with the late game comeback seeming to be a reoccurring theme of the week for the Bisons, those actions transpired once again in the bottom of the 7th, with the Presidents scoring 4 runs on 3 hits and an error. Despite the tough 10-9 loss in Game 1, Point Park was able to bounce back and serve a 16-6 victory over Washington and Jefferson. The Bisons hold an overall record of 18-17, currently standing in 3rd place with an 11-5 conference record. With 6 of the next 8 games being conference games, Point Park looks to build some momentum going into this end of the season with a weekend homestand going up against Rio Grande. With 25 hits in the last 2 games, we'll see if Point Park is able to continue their success at the plate, while the back end of the bullpen tries to find a way to close out those late inning games.
Now, Rob, we'll start off where you ended your story. How important is it for the bullpen to get back on track, because they've been such a key the past few seasons?
Oh, it's a major key right there. Three late inning losses is really unusual for Coach Torres. He's usually really good at managing that bullpen. I think what's going on is got some sore arms in that bullpen. Really, towards the end of the season, that's when your arms get a little tired and you start pulling for straws, trying to get these guys in, trying to finish the innings, finish the games.
Now, last question: how important is it for the Pioneers to pick up 4 wins this weekend?
Oh, it's really important just to try and get one of those top seeds. No matter what, they're still going to have to go into that KIC tournament with some momentum going in. I feel just, I've talked to Shane Conley and Jason Kim. Both of them said they're, really confident about their team. Just everyone getting on the same page and finally playing a complete game as a team.
Thanks, Robert. Now we hand the ball over to Josh Krupp, who's stepping on the mound to talk about the Point Park softball team.
Kyle, sleep is overrated. It's that time of year where we're all trying to figure out what papers we have to write the next week that we should have started months ago. Our professors are cramming 3 weeks worth of material into the final 3 classes, and we're all surviving on energy drinks and junk food to pull all-nighters every single night. Now try doing all of this on top of trying to finish a softball season on a high note. It was a season that started sluggishly with this Point Park Pioneer team going 3-13 in their first 16 games. Point Park has gone 7-3 since and currently sits at 10-16 with a 4-4 KIAC record. The Pioneers had a chance to improve their conference record last weekend, but could not get the job done. Point Park traveled to the University of Rio Grande in Ohio for a doubleheader Sunday. The Pioneer Bats, however, did not. Point Park dropped both games to the Red Storm, who's now 26-7 and 13-1 in conference play. The Pioneers lost Game 1 4-1 and Game 2 6-0. They had the bases loaded in the top of the 7th of Game 1, but the Red Storm turned a double play to end the game and secure the Game 1 victory. Point Park managed only 2 hits in Game 1 and 4 in Game 2, where they were shut out 4-0. The Red Storm put up 3 runs in the bottom of the first and never looked back as they went on to give pitcher Hannah Harley her 7th loss of the season in a 6-0 victory. Harley gave up 6 runs and 10 hits in 6 innings of work against the first-place team in the KIAC. The Pioneers are 500 in KIAC play, but have a great chance over the next week to improve their conference record before tournament play begins at the end of the month. Point Park plays 6 KIAC games against 3 KIAC opponents this week alone. The Pioneers travel to Ohio Christian Wednesday, which is 3-7 in conference play this year. Friday, Point Park hosts Midway for 2 games against the 0-8 in conference play Eagles, and they end the weekend Saturday with 2 against the 2-6 Asbury Eagles. Softball team's next 6 KIAC games are against the bottom 3 teams of the conference that have a combined 5-21 record in conference play. The Pioneers have a great chance now to strengthen their KIAC record before hosting Indiana University Southeast and Brescia, who have 11-1 and 5-7 records respectively next weekend.
Now, Josh, how have the Pioneers been able to be 7-3 their past 10 games?
They've been able to be 7-3 because they haven't played those too many great opponents. This past weekend, we saw a great Rio Grande team. A great Rio Grande team this past weekend that just, they handled them. And the Pioneers softball team isn't as strong as we were used to seeing on the field. They have won the games with their pitching and with their offense. Neither of those showed up against Rio Grande. They need to show up this weekend.
Now, how important is this weekend for this team? Because they are 4-4 in conference play.
They're 4-4 in conference play, 6 games against really subpar opponents. 5-21 are the next 3 opponents' combined records. This is a really good chance to possibly get to 10-4 in conference play moving forward. They can do that even if they can squeak out 4 wins and get to 8-6. That's still a better position because you need to have a good seed going into the tournament so that way you don't get stuck playing Rio Grande in the first round.
Thanks, Josh. When we return, Phil Papore joins us to talk about the Point Park golf team. Then find out what professional golfer had a major collapse over the weekend.
We are a social people. We share our inspiration, wisdom, creations, and memories. We share what makes us laugh and what angers us. Built on the notion of a free flow of ideas, our country thrives on the freedom of speech. Without it, who would watch over our governing powers? And how would we share our history to make a difference for the future? It's this freedom to share that gives us a reason to listen.
All right, guys, any questions on the script? We good to go?
Yep. Right. Should be good.
All right, great. All right, camera 3, set up right there. Camera 2. All right. Use the ball when you're moving this around, but set up for the 2 shot just right there. Weather, how we doing?
It gon' rain.
Perfect.
Welcome back to Daybreak. I'm Sarah Mackin with your
The real host, Adrian Dillon, was seen snuggled up.
All right, prompter. We got everything in. We're good to go? Key Pro, everything loaded. We're good to go? All right. Tyler, any questions?
That shot looks fine.
3, 2, 1. Bring up camera 2. Open mics. Cue talent.
Good morning and welcome to Daybreak. I'm Blaine King.
We know you're wondering what the A-list celebrities are up to.
Well, here at Entertainment on Point, we're wondering too.
Have you heard about James Franco and Seth Rogen's new movie?
No, but have you heard Beyonce's new single?
Did you see what she was wearing on that red carpet?
Honey, that was not cute.
Did you see what happened on Scandal this week?
No, I was too busy keeping up with the Kardashians. No matter what your guilty pleasure is, we've got you covered.
Entertainment on Point.
Get to the point of pop culture.
Yeah!
Welcome back. It's now time to send it over to Phil Papour, who is out in the tee box waiting to tell us how the golf team played this weekend.
Well, Kyle, the temperatures were low and surprisingly, so were the scores. For much of the weekend, it appeared as though the Carnegie Mellon Edward Jones shootout would be canceled, especially after round 1 was cut due to snow. But after a lengthy delay Sunday, the teams took the course for an 18-hole shotgun start with a cool 38-degree temperature at tee-off. As a team, Point Park put in its best work of the season, led by freshman Gage Basiletti, who carded the eighth best score, individually with a 2 over 72. In fact, the whole team shot low at the tourney, with every Pioneer recording a score in the 70s, which was the first time that's happened all season. Sophomore Max Kaminsky and senior Kevin Lautzenheiser also led the way with a 73 and 74 respectively. Overall, the team's score was the lowest of the season with an overall score of 295. That was 13 strokes higher than first place Carnegie Mellon and good enough for 4th overall, behind Allegheny and St. Vincent Colleges. This was a much-needed tournament for the Pioneers, who are currently preparing for their trip to Georgetown, Kentucky to participate in the KIAC Championship Tournament, which the team has won 3 years in a row. According to head coach Gage Bubon, the 5 golfers heading to the championship are Basiletti, Kaminsky, Lautzenheiser, and freshman Rafael Perez and Gino DiPardo.
Thanks, Phil. We will start off in the world of golf, where Jordan Spieth will now be remembered for one of the best wins in Masters history, but also a fall. Jordan Spieth went into Saturday with a lead, played well Saturday to the last few holes where he struggled. Spieth called in his swing coach, hoping to revive the magic he had the year before. Well, this Jordan didn't hit the clutch shot. Jordan Spieth started off the round okay, but after that, Jordan Spieth took a turn for the worst and ended up blowing the lead to Danny Willett. Now, Jordan Spieth will be able to recover, but now he will have to work the kink out of his head after pulling a Dustin Johnson and blowing a late round lead. Now we'll go from the world of golf to a great whose career ends tomorrow on ESPN2 when Kobe Bryant will end his final NBA game. Kobe will be remembered as a savage teammate, almost a criminal, but he should be remembered as the assassin who hit game-winning shots, the dude who took the torch off of Jordan. Kobe Bryant never could be called a weak competitor. Kobe Bryant came out every game wanting the win, and that's what he did, winning 5 NBA championships. Yes, wasn't the greatest teammate, but everyone couldn't deny one thing, that Kobe did want to win. And that's something that Kobe Bryant did quite often. Now, we'll go to Josh Gordon, who has won the loser of the week. Josh Gordon, who was suspended by the NFL for 1 year, filed for reinstatement. Josh Gordon wasn't able to be positive for reinstatement because he failed another drug test. This is the problem with the NFL. Teammates aren't allowed to reach out and help these people because that's a violation of the rules. NFL is a broken system, so maybe Josh Gordon's a victim of himself, but maybe a victim of the NFL culture. When we return, we talk NHL playoffs with some of our top analysts. Who do they think will win the cup? Stay tuned to find out.
Here at the Pioneer Sideline, we get freshmen involved as quickly as possible so they get the real-world experience on air and behind the scenes to set themselves apart in internships and potential jobs. Blaine, where is that video? I needed it in Key Pro like yesterday.
All right, I got you, Chris. But I had a quick question for you guys.
What do you mean the
Can you
questions?
just, like,
It's always a
answer me?
question.
Look.
It's always a... What? Where is he? Blaine!
Blaine!
Blaine! Freshman, you can't find any good ones anymore.
Ever wanted to be behind the mic and have the world listening to your show on campus? Well, it's just as simple as joining WPPJ, Point Park's student-run radio station, located on the 2nd floor of Lawrence Hall, right next to the dining services. Listeners can tune in using Point Park's website or through the TuneIn app by searching WPPJ. WPPJ welcomes any new DJs that want to get involved, so be heard. Do you have what it takes?
Well, no one showed up to the show tonight. Follow my lead. In 3, 2, take 2, Open Mic's Q Talent. Good evening and welcome to UView News. I'm Josh Krupp. We begin with breaking news out of West Penn Hall. Ready, three, take lower third. Traffic is backed up in the West Penn elevator line after elevator 1 broke down on the 7th floor. Lose lower third. Maintenance advises students to take the stairs to avoid delays. Ready, take two. In other news, no, you know what? I didn't sign up for this. We need crew. Join UView. Take alien hand transition.
It's now time for some NHL playoff coverage with Phil, Tyler, and Victor. Guys, this is a relaxed segment. You guys are some top experts who also love the game of hockey. So, no punches or it's a 5-minute major, but I'll allow it. We're gonna start off with high seed who's going to get bounced early. There's always that one team. We can't say it's Montreal this year, but will it be the Capitals? Will it be the Blues? Who will it be? Start with you, Victor.
That's an easy one. It's going to be the Blues, definitely. I mean, they're facing off against the Chicago Blackhawks, which are an excellent playoff team, and I don't think the Blues will be able to exercise their playoff demons. I mean, they're just not a good enough team. The only hope they have is Allen, really, in net.
I agree with Vic with the Blues, but I don't think it's going to be easy. I think it's going to be a rough series. It's going to be a 7-game series.
Yeah.
It's going to be, these teams hate each other. It's going to be quite a game, quite a series to watch.
Yeah, I agree. I see that series going 7, and especially with Kyle and I talked about this earlier, Duncan Keith being out the first 2 games, St. Louis Blues have a chance to steal 2 games early. But overall, I'd say the Blackhawks have the best chance, and I wouldn't even really call it an upset. I mean, the Blues are the higher seed, but I don't see that as an upset, even though the seeds say so.
So you guys don't think there's any other high seed that has a chance to lose? I mean, I know we like the Penguins, but I mean, that's kind of a game that could go either way, so I wouldn't call it an upset. But we wouldn't go with the Ducks over Nashville, a young Nashville team, second year in the playoffs. Tyler, I know you're very objective about this.
Yeah, Tyler, I'll let you go first.
The Predators, yes, in the regular season series, the Predators swept the Ducks, but that was early. That was in February. The Ducks turned it on after the All-Star break. These Ducks, they're red hot. They're on a mission. They want to win the Stanley Cup, and they will. They will win this Stanley Cup this year.
Wow.
And yeah, they also have the statistical average to win against that series. I mean, first in overall defense, basically, first with goals against, first in the power play, first penalty kill. I mean, just on paper, they're already a better team, even starting the season poorly. And you really can't look at their goal production because of that early season slump, but they've managed to really pick it up. So.
I think that'll still be a closer series than people think. I think Anaheim will escape, but I think it's going to be closer.
See, I think it's. I have it down as a sweep. I got it down. They're going to sweep the
Nashville winning 1 game. He's getting 1 game on Ducks.
All right. Now let's switch topics. Let's go to the East Coast, to the team that was is this year's Predators, in the Panthers. How do we think the Panthers are going to do?
Well, Phil, how would you go first on this one?
They have a really young team. They do have the leadership from Yager, but it's tough. Actually, they probably do have the best chance of being the 1 seed that gets taken out. I think that if you want to go for a legitimate upset, not saying like a Blackhawks over the Blues, I think it's the Panthers because they are young, they are relatively inexperienced, but they do kind of have the energy. You know, they are young, they are able to make it better through a season than some of the older guys. So I think that's going to be a pretty close series. But I think Florida is going to get through that series too.
I have Florida going all the way to the conference finals actually because this team has been consistently good all year. All these other teams have been up and down, up and down. Florida's been there. They know what to do. They got Yager. They're going to ride on Yager all the way to Pittsburgh and lose to Pittsburgh there. And I see them having an easier trip to the conference finals.
Yeah, and gonna have to agree with Cahill here. I believe in Yager. I believe in Luongo. I believe in Campbell. Those 3 playoff veterans that are going to drive them all the way to the Eastern Conference. I mean, who's the one who's had 12 games in a row, the highest in the season? That's the Florida Panthers, 103 points. Should really scare away any playoff inexperienced fears.
I actually was going to pick the Islanders till I saw today Islanders officially announced Halak's done for the first round.
Yep.
So, Thomas Grace, sorry. Are we going to see teams like the Sharks, the Predators, the Capitals? One of those teams going to be leaving early again and going to be disappointing us? I think we're going to see the Sharks leave early.
Well, yeah. I mean, the Sharks are facing off against the LA Kings.
Yeah, that's
we all know how they do against in the playoffs, and the LA Kings are a dang good team this year. On paper, they're just so much better than the Sharks. And the Capitals, I don't think they're going to leave early. I mean, they're facing off against the Flyers, even though the Flyers do actually have the regular season series wins 3-2. I think the Capitals are just going to not really blow them away. It's going to be 6 games probably, but I mean, their goal production is just phenomenal.
I have the Capitals losing to Pittsburgh later in the second round. I have the Sharks losing and Predators losing the first round. I just don't think they have what it takes to win that Stanley Cup.
I mean, the Kings, like we said, they kind of switch with the Blackhawks every year. So, I mean, it's a legitimate choice to choose the Kings to go to the Stanley Cup this year. And it's just they're that kind of team that they know they can do it. And the fact that they didn't last year, I think really that team wants to get there. So, yeah, the Sharks, I'd have to agree, are going to be a team that would go out.
All right, now my favorite question. This is a question I've struggled with, and I've been wrong at it a couple of times. Who's in the Stanley Cup and who wins? Phil.
I am going to go with the Chicago Blackhawks. I'm going to take them out of the West. It's going to be close because the Kings and Ducks both look good this year. But the Blackhawks have the experience. They have Andrew Ladd from 2010. He helped lead them to the Cup. They have a good team. They have Panarin. And I'm going to take them in a matchup that I think a lot of people have wanted to see in the NHL for years. I'm going to choose the Penguins. The Penguins are hot. They're going to get Malkin back. I think we're going to finally have that Taves, Kane, Malkin, Crosby matchup that I think the NHL has kind of wanted to see for years with how similar these teams have been.
I got Anaheim in the West and the Penguins in the East. I just feel like it's going to be a great game. Penguins, they're red hot. Same with the Ducks, they're red hot, even hotter actually, because they went from 27th beginning of the season all the way to first winning the conference or division. And I just think it'll be a great match. The only thing that could stop the Ducks is the Kings. But that series go either way. I see the Ducks winning that because they have the advantage during the season. And that's pretty much it. I feel like the Ducks win it 4-3.
I have Pens, Kings in the Stanley Cup Finals. I mean, look at the Pens production once Mike Sullivan actually took over. Most goals, most points in the Eastern and the entire NHL. I mean, that's absolutely phenomenal. And then you have the Kings, which have been phenomenal all year round. I think they'll actually be able to beat the Ducks just because the Ducks, they've been doing good in the second half, but they don't do well in the playoffs. Yeah. And I know, different team, you always say that.
They did get to the conference championship last year.
Admittedly.
I mean, you can't say it's not well.
Yeah.
Well, the Penguins have done.
I know.
So you can't,
I'll give you that. Okay, I'll give you that. But I have LA winning over the Penguins.
I'll go LA. And I'm going to take the unpopular pick. I'm going to go chalk, and I'm going to pick the Capitals. I really want to pick the Penguins. But the fact that we were on our 9th string goalie, that kind of makes it really uncomfortable. Actually, you know what? I'll go Pens Rangers. My buddy JT Miller plays for the Rangers. So I have to go with him. I grew up playing with his little brother. I've known JT since I was 5 years old. So thank you, guys. When we return from our last break, we are joined by 3 of our other analysts for another round of the reporters.
Did you know that Point Park has a cheerleading squad?
Don't stop.
Don't get it confused. Not only do our cheerleaders represent Point Park at regional and national competitions, but they also promote spirit and awareness of every sports team on campus. Come to any men's or women's varsity basketball game at home to watch the cheerleaders perform at halftime and cheer from the sidelines from the first jump ball to the final buzzer. Sports not your thing? You can catch the cheer team lead the crowd at the fall and spring pep rallies as well, or at several competitions around Pittsburgh each year. So what are you waiting for? Show the Point Park cheerleaders the support they show you.
Every human being has a purpose, has a dream to have their voices heard, no matter where they come from, no matter where they go. As an American, it is their right to have freedom of speech. I have a dream that one day this message will speak louder than words, that even the quietest voice will not go unnoticed. That is my dream. What is yours? For more information, visit www.freedomofspeechpsa.org.
Well, it's time for another round of the Pioneer Porters. We have Sarah Macklin, Paul Daniels, and Robert Gomez is back with us. All right, Rob, we'll start back in your Bay Area. We've been doing this a lot. But if Golden State doesn't win, will you still consider them the best team ever if they don't win the championship?
You kind of have. I feel like I have to, but no. In all seriousness, I do think that they are. Even if they don't win, which I don't, I see them winning it all. But even in a slightest chance, if they don't win, I do see them still being the best team. I mean, if you look at their production, they just no team really came close. There's only a few teams on their given date, on their their second straight game that they had to play on long road spans. Those are the only times really they actually had a loss, really, or even close.
I completely disagree. I don't see
Really?
how you can be called the best team if you did not win the full championship at your sport. We go back to, and I'm a Giants fan, we go back to the New England Patriots.
That's exactly what I was gonna bring
18-0. 18-0, and now
Yeah.
they're 18-1. They're not the best team ever.
Yeah.
Yes, they had a great season. Yes, they won 72, maybe 73 games, but they're not the best team if they did not win their title.
Yeah, that was the exact same point I was going to bring up. The Patriots, they went 16-0, yet they didn't finish it out. Everyone is going to, if Golden State doesn't win this championship, yeah, they're going to, and even if they do get the 73 wins, it's definitely, obviously, history-making, but people are going to remember, you got to finish the season out. That's what you play the season for, is to win that championship.
I actually agree with you guys that we might be able to call them the best regular season ever. Well, you couldn't call them the best team ever.
Right.
Like, I consider that Patriots regular season maybe one of the best regular seasons ever, not the best team ever. Now we're going to go to another baseball topic. Will Trevor Story keep hitting home runs, keep being as productive as he is, or are we going to see him do the whole rookie lull thing? Or are we going to see Jose Reyes come back and take his job? What do we think is going to happen here? We'll start with you, Sarah.
I mean, yes, he's gotten off to this incredible start, but it has to come to an end at some point. Even the best players in current MLB and in history, everyone has their slumps. So it's going to happen. He's going to fall off it. I mean, I still think he has a chance in April if he continues what he's doing to break the record of the most home runs hit in April. But I'm not sure Jose Reyes is going to come back and take his job. I mean, if he remains steady, I think he's going to have it out just because of what he's been doing. And I think he's going to reach possibly 30 home runs this season, but I don't think he's going to get to the point where he's going to keep up the record breaking he's been having.
Yeah, I mean, it would be insane if he did. I mean, he has 7 home runs. That'd be like on pace for the most.
189,
yeah,
330 RBIs.
That's just not going to happen. But this is an incredible story from when he struggled in the minors. He struggled heavily in the minors and now learned all the way into the MLB and is putting on a show. I don't think he'll keep up this pace, but you know, he could be a solid MLB player.
Well, I certainly hope he keeps it up. I picked him up the day before opening day on fantasy, so I'm hoping he keeps this up. But I don't think he's going to continue the success rate that he's on. I think he's going to be a good player. He's a guy that, you know, has been in the system for all. He knows he's worked hard in the minor league system. I was talking about it earlier on my radio show that, you know, it's just the rookie adrenaline rush of being in the bigs time for your first time. You know, Giants had a guy named John Bowker. They were comparing him to be the next Barry Bonds, and now he's in Japan right now playing. It's just, you know, but I think he's having a good career, but I just don't think he's going to be continue.
My opinion on it is this. I was listening to Keith Law and people talk about it. They changed his swing so he'd have more of a power stroke, which means he's going to eventually start striking out. Everyone's going to figure out a book, which is mean he's going to have a lot of Ks and his average is going to go down. So I don't think it's going to continue. Next, we're going to switch over to the hottest team in baseball right now, which, well, no one thought. The Baltimore Orioles are undefeated, ironically. And no, we thought they'd lead the league in strikeouts and odd wins at this point. What do you make of this start they're having?
It comes down to their offense. I mean, what their hitters are doing right now is the reason they're 6-0. You have Chris Jones, Adam Jones, but they're just hitting the ball in a home run hitting team, and that's what's carrying them. Manny Machado's doing well. Even Mark Trumbo's throwing in some hits here and there.
That's what he's good at. I mean.
Yeah, I mean, so it's going to continue, but I don't think it's going to be like what everyone's making it out to be, 6-0. I mean, it's first 6 games of the season.
Exactly. Let's not get too carried away, just like Trevor's story. yes, it's 6-0, but there's 156 more games to play, and yeah, I think the Orioles could be a high 80 win, maybe low 90 win team.
What?
Yeah, I think they could, but let's not get too carried away with the 6-0
These lights are
start.
hotter. I'm really getting ready to pass out because you're insane. Rob,
Yeah,
please bring us back
yeah.
to.
I think it's just one of those just good stretches coming off hot. I don't see the Orioles. That starting staff. I don't see them lasting long. They're already taxing their bullpen. I mean, it's only 6 games, and they've already had to been bailed out by their bullpen enough as it is. I just don't see it really going much further.
Yeah, I can't really see them continuing. Their starting pitching just isn't very good. As you said, their bullpen's been stretched out, and eventually they're going to start striking out, and the runs aren't going to come, and they're going to become a cold team. Well, that does it. Next week will be the last episode of the Pioneer Sideline. You get to wish seniors like myself and Zach Aaron goodbye, and we might even shed some tears, and Brittany Loffer in the control room says she will be going too, but her salute's on Daybreak. So join us next week at the same Pioneer time, the same Pioneer channel, and of course, the same Pioneer Sideline.